Welcome to the Sport and Society Squad pod, aka the SASS. Each week, we bring you 3 sport or society stories to break down and give our sassiest takes. With those sassy takes, we do want to give you a content warning that some of the language used on the pod may be explicit. We just ask that you please be mindful of where you're listening and who you're listening with. With that, let's get into it. I'm here with co-hosts Arisan and Wahida. What is up, my gal pals?
Hi. Also, I just want to shout out happy birthday, Chelsea. Birthday girl
Yes.
this week. Celebrating
I'm
on the pod.
32. 22. Oh, remix. 32.
32.
Yeah, every year when there's a 2, 42, 52. You know,
Oh,
get it.
we're going to keep it going. 62,
100%.
72.
I'll be 92. Anyways.
Well, it's going well over here. And you know what? I am kind of spinning a little bit because this year is closing up so quickly. I don't know if I'm ready for 2025 quite yet, but bring it on.
What fucking year comes next?
What year is it? I don't know.
What year are we in right now?
I told you it was spinning, but
how old am I?
What is age and time?
I stopped counting after a while. But anyway, before we get into the playbook for today, I want to take a quick huddle and cover a few sport and society highlights from this past week so our listeners feel like they're in the know with the sport and pop culture world. Here are some highlights that we won't be breaking down in depth, but are worthy to note. Right. It's a long one, y'all. But NFL news, brace yourselves. In NFL news, with a loss against the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets now have been eliminated from the playoffs for the 14th consecutive season. Extends, we're celebrating that one. This extends the longest active drought across the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, and the WNBA.
Kind of iconic.
The
WNBA.
And the WNBA. So that record was previously held by the Seattle Mariners, then the Sacramento Kings. So I'm just happy that it's no longer one of my teams because it was hard out here, folks.
Oh, Wahida.
Sorry, Jets fans.
Sorry, not
sorry. Sorry, not sorry. It's not me. Sucks to be in their shoes.
How had they not been, I guess, officially eliminated? No one thought they were actually going to the playoffs.
They were eliminated on day one, but
they're out of the picture.
Yeah, exactly.
So, additionally, in NFL news, football icon Randy Moss is stepping away from his job at ESPN to deal with a few health problems. ESPN says Randy will be away for an extended period of time. So, we're just wishing him a smooth recovery from whatever he is going through.
Yes.
That was a sad one.
I loved Randy Moss. I mean, I still love him.
We still love him.
Heck, don't be saying shit like that right now. He's gonna be
loved Randy Moss.
We'll be fine.
Patriots.
I love that he's keeping it private too for him and his family. I respect
Yeah, good for him. He needs to focus on what he needs to focus on, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
In NFL college news, the 12 playoff
NFL college.
See, I'm spinning right now, y'all. Okay, let's start that one over again.
You are spinning. Yeah,
I am spinning
for sure.
a little bit.
Again.
Okay. Thank you. I will try again, like Aaliyah. In college football news, the 12 teams have been named for the playoff brackets, and that's been set. Oregon is in the number 1 seed, so I can't really root for that, but good for them.
Alabama didn't make it either.
Ooh,
oh, shit.
That too. Also related, at Oklahoma State, QB Alan Bowman has won his appeal and has been granted an 8th year.
What?
8th year of eligibility.
This dude's 32. Just kidding.
He's expected to stay with the Cowboys next season. And fun fact, random, he is also from the same high school class as Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers.
Wait,
who's Trevor?
8th year of eligibility. Does that mean he was injured for like so many and he redshirted? Like, there's what?
Yeah, it's injury or redshirting.
But the way they say the 8th year of eligibility makes it sound like he was eligible all 8 years, but there must have been something that didn't allow him to play for some of those years. Because like what? He's like 24.
Dang, hope it comes out as a doctor at least if you're
I
gonna
know,
do
right?
years of school.
Shit.
What's happening is
Get
he's
your school paid
he's
for.
the 7th year. He's still waiting to get his degree. I knew
What's
some people like
happening is
that.
he's gonna be a doctor, and we want to support him through that with
Okay.
free
Cheers to
tuition.
him.
Doctors Without Borders, you know.
Also in college news, Tim Duncan's daughter, Sydney Duncan, who is a freshman middle blocker for Stanford's women's volleyball team, has joined her team to advance to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship. So the team is aiming for their 10th national title.
Wow.
Just great athletes all around in that family.
Sure.
Yeah. In MLB news, superstar outfielder Juan Soto and the New York Mets are in agreement on a 15-year, listen to this, $765 million contract. It is the largest deal in professional sports history. That baseball money is something else.
How do teams have this much money to spend on one person? That's crazy.
Yeah.
You think
Oh
you
my
could
God.
early retire with that?
I think I could manage.
I don't know.
could-
I don't know if that's enough.
figure it
We
out.
might need a
I
little
could
bit more.
Figure it out.
It might need to be 766 million
Yeah,
for me.
that
what
might
I
be
find
the
it
sweet
absurd.
spot. Anyway, in NBA news, Chris Paul has surpassed Jason Kidd for the number 2 spot on the NBA's all-time assist list. He's claimed the spot with 12,092 assists, and only John Stockton is above him. He currently holds the title with nearly 16,000 career assists. I don't think anyone's catching him.
No one's touching that one.
No one's touching that one.
Anytime soon, at least.
Also in NBA news, from one wild stat to another, Doug McDermott, aka Dougie McBuckets of the Sacramento Kings, I gotta give him a shout out. He scored
Dougie
18.
McBuckets?
Yeah, Dougie McBuckets.
It sounds like a
Yeah.
fucking McDonald's like side character.
You'll see
I
why
hate
he's
Want to
called.
side of Dougie McBucket French fries? Like what the fuck?
I do personally.
I had some
No.
last night. That's why it's
You'll
top of mind. Yeah.
understand. You'll understand why he's called Dougie McBuckets. It's been a nickname of his since I think his high school days. But he scored 18 points in 6 minutes, which is not the wild stat. He did it by making 6 of 7 attempts from beyond the 3-point arc in 6 minutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That is a crazy
pretty
stat.
impressive. He went in and
Wow.
started just
He
Really
was
going up all.
raining buckets.
It was raining
chocolate.
McBuckets.
Oh,
White chocolate.
okay,
Wait,
McBucket.
I love Jason Williams.
You guys didn't get that reference, so that just ruined it.
White
Never
chocolate?
mind.
I know Jason
Yeah, never-
Williams.
What is it?
No, it's from Along Came Polly, where he's like playing.
Rain shot. Yeah,
Yeah,
I fucking. He says white chocolate. I always do rain shot.
Yeah, I always do white chocolate.
I love that movie. I've never
Well-
called it white chocolate before. What the
Dougie
fuck?
McBuckets might be white chocolate.
Now I'm
All
gonna
right.
watch out for it.
In
movie.
basketball news, but in the WNBA, they revealed the name and branding of the league's first international team. We will welcome the Toronto Tempo to the league in 2026. That's 2 years, right? But there was controversy surrounding the name and the logo. I'm not personally a fan. I think, Arison, you mentioned you weren't either. And also controversy around the way that the WNBA allegedly leaked the team name before its intended announcement date.
Oh, so
Yeah,
the controversy is actually more than just me and you, Wahida, not liking it. Is actually
Yeah.
like a controversy around the name. Okay. 'Cause I
Yeah,
was like,
so-
how out of 10,000 like submissions that they apparently got that this was the league and the logo? Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? I mean, the name.
There
and
were
the
so many
logo.
other recommendations, right? They wanted to stay with the dinosaur theme, so like the Toronto T-Rexes or something, right?
Oh, I
Like,
love that one though.
because they have the Raptors, but they had a bunch
Yeah.
of other really, really great ones. Also, the logo design seemed pretty elementary, and the name was released before they even announced that as a team. So that was pretty controversial because the WNBA kind
Yeah.
of dropped the ball on that one, the basketball,
Yeah.
if you will.
The logo I said looked like a early 90s Microsoft Word clip art shit.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty
Yeah.
unfortunate. Related in WNBA news, kind of some sad news for us as Seattle girlies, but Jewel Lloyd has requested a trade out of Seattle. I think one of these
Sure.
weeks we have to cover some of the drama that's going down in the Storm locker room.
yeah,
Maybe that'll
the
be
Golden
next
Oh, there's
State.
drama.
Yeah. The Golden State Valkyries opted not to select from the Seattle Storm. That was also some drama shit.
Yeah.
Be like, we don't want your drama coming to other teams.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot going on there. Anyways, in society news, Taylor Swift officially ended the Eras Tour this past Sunday in Vancouver, Canada. Congrats to Miss T Swift for almost 2 years.
That's crazy.
Holy shit. 2 years of hard work and making some magical moments for her fans. I know our girl Chelsea loves this queen.
She was at that concert.
Yeah, it was
concert.
Saturday. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. With another famous Chelsea. Chelsea Handler was there.
I was like, who?
We're like, which one?
Another famous.
Another famous Chelsea.
Oh, I
Another
see.
one of us was there.
I also see that Alyssa Milano and Jen Tran and Sasha Farber from Dancing with the Stars were also there. Wow.
Yeah, they were there. That's
up.
wild, right?
Yeah.
Didn't see them, but whoa, heard they were there.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Well, Doechii accepts the Hip Hop Disruptor of the Year award at Variety Hitmakers. Her Tiny Desk performance hit 1 million views in 2 days and is number 10 trending on YouTube. I love Doechii. I think she's the next big, great superstar. Her music is incredible, and her artistry is incredible too. You need it. We'll send you some clips.
Idea who this person is.
She also has a Kendrick cosign, so you know she's a good one.
Yeah. Okay.
Trisha, is it Paytas? Paytas. She makes her SNL.
She made her NFL debut.
But she made her Saturday Night Live cameo 3 years after her podcast co-host said he'd cut his arm off if she ever made the show.
Wait,
you think he's gonna go through with it?
Can we? So I had to Google this when I saw this because I'm like, I don't understand why this is a highlight. And two, I don't understand this podcast or this story. And I tried to get more, and that was just the headline. Are they still co-hosts? That feels like
no, it ended a while ago. I think because they kind of started to bicker a little bit too much on the podcast with each other. But he said like, oh, like what is the thing that I could say that's really important because it's like will never happen. Like you will never be on SNL. And she was like,
watch me.
He said he cut off his arm.
Can you tell me, Chelsea? I know we said we're not going to go in depth about these topics, but I don't know who Trisha is, and I feel like I see her name pretty often. Can you give us a high level?
I'm trying to remember what originally got her famous. I think the first, if I'm being so honest, I think the first thing that got her famous is she starred in a Eminem music video, just being kind of like she's like a very much, almost, if you will, like performance comedian. Like she's just like always on social. She always goes really viral for just like doing the most insane, but like really fucking funny and dumb things on social media. And sometimes it's on accident and sometimes it's really intentional. And like, I'm not like ever subscribed, but like she does get me. Like there are times where I'm just like, that's funny. So it's kind of cool. Like I do think it's kind of cool that they brought her on and made it silly.
Well,
so we'll see.
Praying for her former co-host because he made that comment. Arms. So yeah, he's gonna have only one arm. Anyway, related to influencer news, Dominique Brown, co-founder of Black Girl Disney, died after an allergic reaction to food served at an influencer event. So this is very sad. Multiple sources said Brown notified event organizers about her food allergies beforehand, but of course,
that's really sad.
They weren't followed, and she was 34, so she was very young. Yeah. So prayers to her family. It's tough. That's tough. Food allergies, I feel like, need to be taken seriously. Yeah.
So seriously, yeah.
Yeah. In other news, Ben Affleck has been spotted with ex-wife Jen Garner, sending some fans into a frenzy, and I am one of those fans. I'm not gonna lie. This just keeps ping-ponging. Bennifer.
Bennifer.
They're Bennifer too.
The Bennifer.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep my eye on that.
Kids together, so it's like, oh my gosh, they were seen together, and it's like, well,
no, but I think it's because they were looking very friendly, like not just seen together, but they were looking.
Oh,
friendly.
Seriously? Maybe like a smooch or two.
Interesting.
Well, there's that. I'm in a frenzy. Related, Amber Heard is pregnant with her second child, so congratulations to her. I didn't even know she had her first child, so
To be honest, me either.
yay. I know Chelsea's going to be excited about this one. Aaron Rodgers has a new documentary called Enigma coming to Netflix. If you're a fan, check that out on December 17th. Chelsea,
No, the
I know
trailer
you.
is so like cringe.
No, the
Oh my
trailer
God.
is exactly why I hate this man. Like, watch the trailer. You'll understand why I'm like such a fucking hater.
I couldn't make it.
Over 10 years, this hatred has happened.
I couldn't
I
even
just-
make it.
through
Almost
the
as long
trailer?
as the Jets have been out of the
Oh,
playoff
yeah,
picture.
man. Yeah.
It's just, I
I
feel
blame
like
him.
Aaron Rodgers, I don't know, once he left Green Bay, like a little bit before he left Green Bay, he really has just gone downhill, and everything he does feels like it's trying to like, I don't know, get attention or like be back to be like one of the favorites of the NFL. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's not going to happen. And it just keeps getting weirder and more like
Obnoxious.
gross. Yeah.
It's giving like self-important in a way that like I don't give a shit. Like I won't argue you're great at football, but like,
Is he anymore?
can't we just leave it? Can we just
Clearly
leave
not.
it at that?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the
can
fact
we-
that it's even called Enigma feels like such a like an ego name.
Yeah.
Like,
Same.
really?
I am,
Like,
like,
Enigma? Are you really an
like
Enigma?
I'm changing the world when I
Like
throw this
rich white
football.
dude?
Yeah.
Wow.
My thought was that he hasn't had good publicity in the last few years, and I feel like this is a like
wonder why,
attempt. Yeah, I feel like this is an attempt to rehabilitate his image because he knows people don't like him. But I don't think it's gonna do that. I just feel like this is what he's trying to do.
My gosh. Okay. Well, stay
called the
tuned to check it out. But what a huddle, Wahida. Let's get into today's playbook.
Thank you.
For today's playbook, we are going to start by breaking down the flag planting drama that happened at the college football game between Michigan and Ohio State. And then we're going to discuss this new Drake lawsuit that's been going down. And lastly, we will finish with a recap of the Forbes 30 under 30 list. 30 under 30 list.
Well, yes.
That was just
The 30 people that we
released.
know that have a lift.
A list, which is I am one of them. Actually, I'm not under 30. Damn it.
Sorry. And now you know how old we are.
You can make the 40 under 40 list.
Yeah, thanks. Well, thanks, Wahida. Well, with that, I'm going to pass it to Wahida to kick us off with our
All
first
right.
topic.
Oh, drama. Okay, well, you all know it's no secret. I watch sports for the drama. On the field, sometimes off the field, I'm locked in. And rivalry week in college football is a gold mine. This year, I learned about a new phenomenon I didn't know I needed in my life called flag planting. You might be asking, what is that? What is flag planting? Well, it's when the winning team takes the school flag, their school flag, and symbolically plants it on the opposing team and usually home team's field. It's typically on the logo right smack dab in the middle of the field, and unsurprisingly, it sparked some wild altercations during rivalry week. As you mentioned, Michigan and Ohio State got into it. Other schools got into it. Fights happen. A lot of dramatic shit happens on the field. So let's talk about the rules. Some argue that flag planting is unsportsmanlike, but here's the kicker, right? The NCAA has no rules against unsportsmanlike conduct after the game. So once that whistle blows off, it's the wild, wild west. Yeah, so the rule, it's fair game, yeah. The rule book only applies to what happens before the game, during gameplay, and between periods. So that means flag planting or planting a flag post-game doesn't break any rules, even if your feelings get hurt. And the fights that happen as a result of this action also don't face any repercussions. So none of those fights led to anything. See, yeah, interesting, right? Well, conferences like the Big Ten have weighed in, but the NCAA as a whole has set a precedent that flag planting isn't punishable, and they treat it on the same level as fighting after a game. But here's my counter to the sportsmanship crowd who says this disrespects the losing team. I feel like flag planting, while yes, disrespectful, I feel like it also should be seen as motivation, right? This is like core to college football and the energy around it. If anything, it gives the losing team something like a chance to win something, whether it's the fight right then and there on the field after the game, or even better, next year's like match with each other. It just like strengthens the rivalry, I feel. So if someone's planting a flag on your field, that should be a chip on your shoulder to kick their asses next year. That's how I see it. But yeah, it just sets up the next chapter for the rivalry. And a little anecdote, I went to the University of Washington. A friend of mine went to Washington State University. And if you're familiar, from your words, from your lips to God's ears, right? But if you're familiar, the two schools are like tough rivals, and we play a game every year called Apple Cup. And during our freshman year, the Cougs took the cup that year. So she starts sending me a bunch. She starts sending me a bunch of text messages, just like trashing UW, like just going in. So without saying anything, like I didn't respond. I just sent her a link to uwrejects.com. And if you're not familiar, that link leads to Washington State University's homepage. And I just feel like that's the energy of college football. Like the rivalries exist for that reason. And
are there any rules for students? Could you go up and just like clock her after the game saying like, well, hello, there's no rules for the players. What about
there's no rules for the players, so there's definitely no rules for the students.
Well, and NCAA doesn't care. Yeah,
that's true. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, do you love this energy? Do you hate it?
What happened at Michigan? They went over there, and that's what it was. Is basically like Michigan planted in Ohio, and they're pissed.
Yeah, and then a fight broke out.
Yeah, I think so. I'm split on this because, on one hand, like I like rivalries and like motivation, but I guess as an athlete, I've never like been the sports person that's being like, well, maybe I'm taking this back. That's like, you suck. Like, whoa, like planning that shit. But maybe I kind of have, because that's kind of how I feel about 49ers. So I don't usually be like, well, maybe I do. Actually, I'm switching my opinions back and forth.
I'm like, where are we? Where are we?
I don't know. Here's what's interesting. I think to your point of like motivation, it is real. Like having someone pretty much be like, you suck, like you are losers in your face. You
on your home field too.
On your home field, like that's gonna motivation the last year, and it's also probably something that you remember for the rest of your life. I also feel like it's funny that the NCAA is like still not setting rules, because it almost feels like, you know what, it's better, let's just stay out of it, turn our head the other way, because if they start setting rules, then they have to start enforcing it. And then you've got some of the biggest rivalries having to like dole out punishments and doing all that shit for athletes. Like they don't want that. Nobody wants that. So I'm like, as long as they can continue to like fight after and like do whatever they got to do and not get punished for it, like go for it. If you're going to plant, also I can't say plant, if you're going to plant a flag. If you're going to plant a flag, you better be ready for the repercussions.
If you're gonna plant a garden, be ready for your harvest. Like,
this feels a little dirty.
The vibe it's giving. Whoa.
Right. If you're gonna dish it out, you got to be ready to take it. But I feel like this is what college football, college rivalries are all about. You know what I mean? At least I feel that way. Yeah. Chelsea, thoughts on it? You're thinking.
Well, I just, it's so dramatic. Like, that's all I think about. It's like, this is
But we
so
live
dramatic.
for the drama.
That, like, you hustle all game, and your first thing is like, oh my God, somebody grab the flag. Like, I'm like imagining them running, like, we have to do it. Like, that's dramatic. Like, can we not just, like, dump the Gatorade on the coach and call that good enough? Like, no.
They're still doing that.
Just fucking destroy shit. Like, we won. Like, it's giving toddler. I don't know how else to explain it.
I agree.
So you're not a fan, toddler. Chelsea?
I don't know. I don't really know. I just think it's dramatic. Like, I'm not for or against. I just am like, whoa. Would I do it? I don't know. I feel like in the middle of a game, I can be like, what the? To somebody. But once it's over, my mind just, it's done. What? We're not even playing anymore. Nice. What? I don't care. What? Well, the game is done. The score was the ultimate punishment. We fucking beat you.
Like, yeah.
That's all I have to do is to say is we beat you.
And there's nothing really like this in any sports that are female sports. Like, this is very much a male
That's what
dominated,
it's
prideful ego thing. Like,
Honestly,
so it's like
I don't-
drama and emotional. So it's like, okay, like if you
I
gotta
don't
play
see
in
it
a ball, go for it.
happening in any
Yeah,
other
that's kinda how it
sport
feels.
even. Like, I feel like it's specifically a football thing.
I mean,
yeah,
hockey
like
can clock up at any point in the game, and I love that shit.
That's
but it's part of
true,
the
yeah.
game. It's
so
part of
does
the game.
baseball. Have you seen the
Yeah.
bullpen like rush out onto the
Yeah.
field? That's my favorite part of the sport. But I get what you're saying. This is a little bit extra, especially at the end of the game when you've already won.
Yeah,
Walk away.
you already won. Like that's how I feel about it.
I just love the drama. I'm here for
I mean,
it.
don't get me wrong. I saw someone yelling at someone at the dog park the other day, and I was like, I love the
You're like,
drama,
what?
but like, it's would I do it IDK? And with that, I feel like it's time to transition to our second topic, the Drake
Sure.
lawsuit. I
Yes.
want to get your thoughts because I only know high level. Surprisingly, on this one, I feel like I hate Drake as well. I'm just kind of a hater today. I'm going to be really honest. I'm giving haterade energy for Drake and fucking Aaron Rodgers, which I don't know. Is that problematic? I don't think so. But okay, the story's juicy. So if you haven't heard, which I didn't until earlier last week, that Drake has launched legal action against Universal Music Group. And he's specifically accusing the label of artificially boosting streams of Kendrick Lamar's diss track against him. Not like us.
Where?
No, literally. A spokesperson for Universal claims offensive and untrue, adding that fans choose the music they want to listen to. And I hard agree with that. LOL, LOL. Like, that song went triple platinum in my house because, again,
Triple
They don't
platinum.
like it.
they can
Wow.
listen to
They
the
don't like
music
that.
they want to listen to.
Exactly.
I don't like Drake. It wasn't artificial. I'm real. What? So that's crazy. But in papers filed in New York, Drake's company, Frozen Moments, which is giving kind of like Tempo Toronto
That
vibes.
sounds like a
It's just like, what the fuck? He's
A
accusing
specialty
Universal. Yeah. Oh God. Sorry, that is crazy. Wait. Sorry, his Frozen Moments LLC accused Universal and the streaming giant Spotify of engaging in a legal scheme involving bots, payola, and other methods to promote that song. Universal has said did not rely on chance. Drake's lawyers allege it instead launched a campaign to manipulate and saturate the streaming services and airwaves. And so far, Kendrick and Spotify just have not responded. So I love that for
because
Kendrick.
it's ridiculous.
Because why?
It's so ridiculous.
Isn't
Why
that-
ways?
Wasn't I? Is it? Did I hear it correctly that is also Drake's music label? Like, they're on the same.
Frozen Moments, Drake's company, Frozen Moments LLC.
No, but Drake is
wasn't-
also on Universal Music Group. Like, I think
Yeah.
that's the big
Oh,
umbrella, and they're
Yeah.
on different labels under that big company.
Okay. Okay. That's
So are you outing yourself, Drake? Then that you know that this can happen. Sorry.
So
Like,
actually, this is what I heard about that. Some folks are claiming that Drake's been a beneficiary of similar streaming boosts, and that's why he knows, because he's under
that's what I'm saying.
Universal Music Group as well. But I really just think Drake is seeing his credibility as an artist just slip away from him, and he's
Yeah.
like hurt by that. Like, his ego is bruised because of that, and this is his like retaliation because his music can't stand up, or the things that he put out in response to Kendrick can't stand up to what Kendrick put out, and he's doesn't know what else to do. This is the only way he can
Well,
discredit him.
I think it's also like, for me, just like a cherry on top of all of this is that, like, if you listen to a couple of podcast episodes ago, we talked about like songs that were nominated for Grammys, and Not Like Us was nominated for Grammy. And that's just like even better.
Well, Drake
It's
also
fake,
even
but
tried
got
to
nominated
diss.
for a Grammy.
Drake also tried to diss Kendrick by saying, "Oh, Kendrick put a song out, give him a Grammy." Like, he was like, "Oh, he's just they love him so much, they're gonna give him whatever." And it's like, well, I mean, he's good.
Well, we
That's why
do.
it's
Sorry.
so worth. Anyway, if you couldn't tell, I'm also a Drake hater. I think I admitted that last week, and certified. I love old Drake. R&B
I like
Drake was
certified
great.
Drake.
Current
Yeah.
Drake, I'm not really a fan of, and
Yeah.
also like
I-
who
Oh,
he's
for
showing
sure.
himself to be. I'm just not.
Yeah. So
board.
I was
It's that
I
part of
was
it.
old Drake for sure. Like his
Same.
his What was
Nothing
it
was
with,
the same.
well, it was like, remember back to back his diss track against Meek Mill. Like,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, it is a legit like diss track. I fuck with that song, but pretty much I said no, thank you, Drake, after he sided it with Tory Lanez with Megan the Stallion. Like when he was like discrediting her after all of that she went through and attacking her, I was like, no, we are absolutely done. I was already not feeling your music in the same kind of way. And then you just put the nail in the coffin there.
Yeah.
So I just think this is really funny because he's such a pop boy. He is, and he's trying to be like this hard rapper, and he's been for years. And I'm like, dude, like just stick to like what
You're
you
good
make,
at.
and that is just like bops for the teenagers.
Funny story.
It's all
That's what
music.
it is.
Funny story. After the Toronto Tempo name was released, some folks were saying, we just know Drake's ass had something to do with this terrible name.
We know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
I agree.
mean,
I just think he's losing his popular, or not. I think he's still going to be popular, but he's losing some of his control of the game or of the industry. And I feel like that's scary to
100%.
him. And I mean, I think one of the things that I feel like is the reason why that's the case is because he doesn't feel authentic. I know we're getting away from the lawsuit, but this is probably why the lawsuit
this feeds
exists.
right into it, though. Yeah.
Like, I think the lawsuit exists is because, he's losing some of his hold on the industry because he's inauthentic. Like, I've always said, I feel like Drake the rapper, I know that's also his name is Drake, but Drake the rapper is Aubrey Graham playing a rapper. He's not
literally
a rapper.
Yeah.
No, I remember the first time I saw him, I'm like, that's Jimmy. Because I was a huge Degrassi girl. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was so confused. But I think
he's not a rapper.
He's not a rapper. And like, I talk about motivation. Like, this is the part that makes me not like him. Because like, I agree with Arisan that the whole Meg Thee Stallion thing, that's when I finally was like, I actually just won't stream music at all. Because like, why insert yourself into something like that in general?
Exactly.
Like, you're not involved. Like, don't insert yourself. But two, like, this whole situation is just kind of the same energy that I don't like. It's like, if we're thinking motivation from the last story, if Kendrick is doing this well, why is that not motivating you to actually look at your craft and then just come up with shit that's good?
Yeah.
But you're just leaning into something stupid and like saying all this stuff. You're kind of outing yourself that you've done these like stupid ploys to get more listens, and you're not even caring anymore about the music and the things that you're putting out. You just care about how many streams you're getting. Yeah. And if someone gets nominated for a Grammy, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, truly, fuck off.
And also, like, you poked the bear, right? Like, you poked the bear.
Yeah.
You have to know that the bear might bite your head off. And, like, that's what's happening here.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, totally. It would be different if Kendrick was doing all these attacks and Drake was, like, staying silent and not doing anything back. But he wasn't
He's
silent.
not innocent.
But he's not innocent here. And he got hurt. And he's, like, got his feelings hurt. And with this lawsuit, it's like, also, what good do you think was going to come from this lawsuit? Even if you won, per se, the lawsuit, all you, again, are doing is making people be like, really? You got to sue over this? One, you don't need the money. What's the point you're trying to prove? Like, you're just not in the spotlight. So this is the way that you're going to be in the spotlight. I'm sorry, sir. Like, go to therapy.
Yeah. We know you can afford it.
Talk this out. I feel like there's a lot of things you need to talk out here because, oh my gosh. And I'm like convinced Drake just makes like pop music for teenagers because I'm like, that was kind of when, early 20s was the stuff that I liked.
When you were a fan?
When I was a fan. Like the high schoolers right now, like we have like a Drake band and they don't like that, but it's like none of his new shit's good. Like we're listening to it, I'm like, this is bad. And it's because their music taste hasn't developed yet. Just kidding.
Your brain's not developed.
There's also
your
that
music
part.
isn't
Yeah, they just don't know good music now. I just kidding. But we'll see kind of how it unfolds. This is not quite related, but kind of related. I will say, because you know how J. Cole kind of like dipped his feet in trying to like do like Kendrick, and then he was like, just kidding, I'm out.
Yeah.
I
He's
don't
like,
do this.
this is going in a direction that
like,
I'm not about.
I'm
Yeah.
And then J. Cole just released a new album just came out.
But
And
did you also hear J. Cole also released his old mixtapes on streaming too? So Harrison, as a fan, if you don't know, like Friday Night Lights, the warm up, everything that raised me is now on streaming. Anyway, love J. Cole.
J. Cole has been what I've been listening to the last week, because I'm like, you know what? I listened to Kendrick, and then J. Cole came out at the same time, and I'm like, okay, I'm glad
These
J.
are my
Cole
guys.
did not. I'm so glad. I mean, even if he's still Team Drake on the behind the scenes, I'm glad he didn't go full attached to be like, let's attack Kendrick together. And I'm like, yeah, you're smarter than that, J. Cole. You're a better artist than that, J. Cole. So
way better.
We'll see how the story unfolds. But with that, I'm going to transition us to the next playbook story, and that is the Forbes 30 under 30 sports edition list, which was released this last week. These are athletes and executive breaking barriers. Candidates have to be 29 years or younger as of December 29th, 2024, and were selected by a panel of judges. And so those judges included Kia Clark, the CEO of the New York Liberty. You've got Jam Nagafi, no idea if I said that right. He's co-founder of a private equity firm, MSP Sports Capital. You got Vijay Srinivasan, who's co-founder of Major League Cricket. And then you got Lindsey Vonn, who is the legendary skier.
Cool.
And she was in the 2014 class. But what I think is super awesome about this list specifically is it features 22 women and 16 people of color. So women are dominating this list. So as I was going through that, I was like, heck yeah, look at all these women.
Yeah.
So for those purposes, I can tell you some of the men, but my highlights are all women on this list. Yeah.
We talked about sexiest men last week. We can leave that behind.
Objectified the men last week.
We just argued about men for like 20 minutes.
We just
get to the ladies.
Yeah, that's true. But some notable people. Caitlin Clark obviously is on the list. I will say what I thought was a little surprising that I didn't see was Angel Reese did not make the list. So that was a little surprising.
Did she make it a few years ago or last year or something of that sort? I think she had already made it, and you can't make it multiple times.
That's true. I didn't. That makes sense. Okay.
So good.
I didn't check who was passed. That was just something I thought of, but that would make more sense. So okay, good. I'm not trying to fuel
she also
drama.
has
another drama. Yeah, you heard it here first.
Yeah, and even if she didn't make it, she's so young. She could still make it. You know what I mean?
That's true.
It's so true.
Yeah, but also our girl Ilana Mar, she was on that list, so she's just been having a year. Can't wait to see what's going on with that.
Oh, by the way, she just signed with a rugby team overseas, and they just announced
something about bears.
Yeah, something about bears. Yeah, but
so
congratulations to her.
She's killing it. But there were some other Olympians. Summer McIntosh, she's from Team Canada. She made the list. We also have Mallory Swanson from U.S. Soccer, and she's the one who scored the gold medal winning gold. So she's on this list. Terrace Davis Woodhall, who's with a couple with Hunter, her husband. She's on this list. I ship them so hard. Love them. And then we've got sprinter Gabby Thomas. Some folks, it was really cool to see there was quite a few executives that are under 30 in like the NFL.
For them.
Yeah, vice president. And so I'm like loving this for them. There was also, I didn't know who this person was, but I thought it was super cool because she's 24 years old. Her name is Erin Matson, and she's the field hockey head coach for the University of Carolina.
She just graduated.
Yeah, so I guess she, as a college player, won 4 collegiate titles and then started coaching at 22 and has already won one as a coach.
She's
22.
Yeah, so that's pretty amazing. There's also Soraya Tinker, who's 26, who was the first Black hockey player at Yale and now leads diversity initiatives for the PWHL and runs the nonprofit advocacy group Black Girl Hockey Club Canada.
Okay, we love that. I
Yes.
love
Yeah, that's
that
really
for
cool.
so
Yeah.
many reasons, especially because hockey is not super diverse as a sport. And
No.
that's really awesome that she is, pioneering all of that.
Yeah. Well, and there's also, speaking of hockey, Layla Edwards, she's 20 years old, and she is American ice hockey player, and she plays for University of Wisconsin, Black woman, and she also is on the women's national team. She's 20 years old, just like
I'm just
killing,
like
breaking
wildly impressed.
barriers. On the kind of collegiate side, I love Flage from LSU. She's a basketball player. She also is an artist, singer. She just got signed.
Wonderful personality too.
Oh yeah, she's got podcasts. I love like following her. She's hilarious. She also just got signed with an NIL partnership. Her and Paige Buckers for the Unrivaled. They signed her, and she was doing like music for them. So she's really great. I think she's like made music with Lil Wayne. So she's done some really. I'm like super happy to see her on this list. There's also I don't know, you Chelsea might have seen these, the twins from Miami, Haley and Hannah Cavender. They're like these blonde twins that
Oh, you think just because they share a hair color, I will know them?
No, they're actually
Because they're, like,
more popular
big.
for being influencers than they are for their actual play.
Yeah.
They're not
Thanks,
that
Wahida.
great.
Yeah.
Is what we're
I was like,
hinting
what
towards.
the book? No, I don't know.
Yeah, they're
these
really popular.
girls.
They have a huge following on like TikTok and stuff.
Yeah. So, like, those are some, like, for example, when I was talking about executives, there's Catherine Bowman. She's 27, and she's the vice
Holy.
president for corporate partnerships at the Miami Dolphins and Hard Rock Stadium. I did crazy. And then there's Kara Agby. She's 29, director of partnership development for the Golden State Warriors. Like, there's just some pretty impressive
cool.
executives. The Erica Contos, she's 28. She's director for international content partnerships for the NBA. There's just,
Wow.
looking at this list and seeing it's like female dominated, and like not just female dominated in female sports, but also especially on the executive side, the women that are in, the male dominated sports or like NBA and NFL is like really cool to see. And the fact that these people are all under 30, so they've got like their whole
Yeah.
lives and careers ahead of them.
Yeah.
That makes me really excited about the future of all of these leagues because the executive leadership teams and stuff are starting to swing in a way where there is more representation, which is really exciting. And I feel like that's going to change a lot for how the leagues operate and how they run, and what we get to see from the leagues as well. So that's awesome. We talked about motivation, and I feel like this is just like really motivating, like to hear all of these really young people in their careers have so much ahead of them, like doing the things that they're doing at such a young age. I feel like, wow, I need that lit a fire under my ass a little bit,
Whoa. Okay.
right? No,
Yeah.
like not for you.
Yeah.
I mean, 22 years
little
old,
bit.
you're winning, like you're winning championships for your team as a coach. Like that's so wildly
Yeah, that's
impressive.
insane.
I think one of the things that stuck out to me, I mean, I'm in addition to being just wildly impressed, one of the things that stuck out to me was that, and maybe it's because they were already named to this list, but none of the gymnasts from this USA Olympic team made the list. That was kind of
I
surprising.
feel like they probably did already.
I'm sure Simone Biles.
That's
has made
my
this list
assumption.
before.
Yeah, that would
For
be my
sure.
assumption.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
And
surprised
Suni.
none of the other girls were named to it. But that was just my biggest kind of the thing that
Yeah,
stuck out
that is
to me
one
the
thing I
most.
didn't. That felt like a lot of fact checking that I didn't want to do.
Mhm.
About
sure.
past ones, because if you've been on a past 30 under 30, then you get disqualified for that. So, yeah, I mean, well, again, you got like a panel of judges. It's cool to make that list. I think it's also just like a status thing. I remember like years ago, I'm like, I wanted to make a 30 under 30 or 20 under 20, and now it's like 40 under 40 list. But really,
So
that's kind of
cool.
like, I mean, it's still cool, but I don't think any of these people obviously are doing it to be on lists like this. And I just think the fact that there's like 22 women, 16 people of color, it's just like highlighting things that we wouldn't have known, like people, like especially women, just to celebrate them. I think that's what's cool about this list and seeing the diversity, because sometimes these lists aren't diverse and you get like a handful of women. And so it's cool to see that they made this list more diverse and really highlighting all these awesome things. That's like, yeah, women can do all these awesome things at all these different levels at, whatever age they want to.
And I love that they also highlight like coaches and like executives, because we as like consumers of sports and stuff, we get to see all the athletes. Like, we know those names, but those other individuals in the background, in the back of the house, doing a lot of really heavy lifting too, don't get as much recognition, especially when they're women. So it's really cool that they're spotlighting that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that is a wrap for the pod today. Let us know your thoughts on the playbook at the Sport and Society Squad on Instagram and TikTok.
And don't forget to hit follow and subscribe to our show on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, and turn on the notifications so you can stay up to date on all the latest sport and society stories.
And please, please, please go rate the pod. But in the meantime, stay sharp, stay sassy, and we'll catch you next time.